Everything has changed. The fact that it was a young woman, a young creative writer, artist, who looked at me, recognized my journey, and said, come with me on this next walk. That is everything for me, and I so appreciate it. If there is more of that, there is so much to look forward to, so much to look, and I'm gonna be Betty White Black, baby. Working till the day before I die. Thank you.
Betty White Black.
Yes. I'm Entertainment Weekly editorial director and Awardist host Gerrad Hall. They have given us some of the biggest laughs on TV this year, and now they're with us to keep the laughs going this award season. Joining me are, from The Residents, Uzo Aduba, The Bears, Liza Colón-Zayas, Shrinking's Michael Urie, from Abbott Elementary, Sheryl Lee Ralph, mid-century modern star Nathan Lane, and from St. Denis Medical, David Alan Grier. Sheryl, we must congratulate you on receiving your star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Yes, 48 years in this business. It is well-deserved and long overdue, so congratulations on that. You did not want to play Barbara Howard at first. You had your eye on Principal Coleman.
Absolutely.
Quinta said, no, we need a queen for Barbara Howard. That is you.
That's exactly what she said.
Yeah, how big of an exercise in trust was that?
It's all leaning into the trust, not just of Quinta, who absolutely knows this show, these characters, the storyline from A to Z.
I'm you.
You who?
I'm dressed as you.
Well, why would you be dressed as me?
'Cause you're 100 years old.
When we first shot the pilot, she said, I know exactly what's going to happen to these characters from now until the end of the 5th season. And we've just finished our 4th, going into our 5th season, which, thank you very much, which was just wonderful. But I had a moment with Randall Einhorn, who directs many of our episodes. And one day Randall said to me, Sheryl, you can do anything, just do nothing. And I was like, I'm an award-winning actress. What do you mean, do nothing? But then I leaned into the nothing, just laying back. That was trust. And he was absolutely right. With comedy, we want to add just a little bit more. I'm like, it's just enough. Leave it alone. And that trust has done very well by me.
Do you feel like that's pretty specific to this type of show, and yours as well, because they're shot documentary style?
I think so. Yeah. For me, I think so. Very much of what you see on our show is exactly what's on the page. It is 99% what is on the page. Now, they will give you a moment where they'll say, okay, do what you want to do. But trust me, it's going to go right back to what the writers wrote.
When they say do what you want to do, they turn the cameras off. Go do your monologue, Sheryl. Tell us where you're from.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Yes.
It's such a great show. And I always get a kick out of, at the end of a scene, usually someone just looks at the camera. Like,
Hank has 2 turkeys, he gets 2 more. How many turkeys?
having been on Modern Family and in this whole documentary style, Pepper Saltzman never looked at the camera. I so wish, because I always love that moment.
Yeah.
Have you lost your mind? Go! You disgust me! Go!
What is the craziest thing you've been asked to do or voluntarily did for a laugh in any of the projects you've been in?
Wow, I think for me it would have been show up even though I had a temperature of 106.
Oh my God. Wow.
And
should have been in the hospital.
I should have been at home or in the hospital.
Yes.
It was a literal 106, but I came to work anyway. I'm glad that ethic is dying slowly in the industry. And I came to work and they said, Sheryl, we'd send you home, but you're still funny. So that would be
Even when you're dying, you're amusing. So we need to film it.
But you don't sound sick.
Nathan, have you been asked to do something Crazy outside of your comfort zone for a laugh?
I did a play, a Terrence McNally play called Love, Valor, Compassion, and he had written that this character I was playing entered naked serving drinks. And it is a group of gay men at a country house. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'm not doing that. I said, there's nothing funny about that at all. And it'd just be upsetting for the audience, for me in particular. Uh-huh. So I said, I don't want to do that. But I said, the character is a costume designer, so he could improvise a costume to wear coming out serving drinks. So I said, what if I'm in an apron and a big picture hat and sunglasses and sweat socks and high heels, but I'm not wearing anything underneath the apron? Uh-huh. So that so I made this entrance, and I mean, it might have been the longest laugh I've ever gotten on stage, which was they saw me come on, and there was a laugh when they saw the outfit, and then as I went by and they saw my ass, the laugh went on for a very long time. And then Stephen Spinella, the great Stephen Spinella, was in the scene, and he kept trying to cut the laugh off. So I would bend over and serve the drink, and stick my ass in his face, and the laugh went right back.
Sounds gratifying. You figured out what works for you, and
well,
what
and
was
also
right.
what worked for the character.
Yeah.
That made sense. You know, it's like, oh, then that's fun. He's doing this thing for fun. Yeah. He's that kind of guy.
That's how you steal the scene.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It is. What about the three of you?
I was on Sex and the City playing a housekeeper, and Samantha couldn't find her vibrator. And it's because I had it in the kitchen and I was making juice. And yes, it was outside of my comfort zone. I smiled for sure.
Yeah.
For myself, I think trying things is part of it. I had a scene in Orange is the New Black, and it was written as a poem just to be read. I had this idea in my mind of how I should kind of come in and do all these vibes and energies, and was a slam poet, and I didn't know what I was doing in the TV space, but I had come from another world where you're supposed to try, and they liked it and they kept it.
Before I met you, the sun was like a yellow grape. But now it looked like fire in the sky. Why? Because you light a fire inside me.
I did this whole thing in a pilot once where I was trying to make a quick escape, and I was like, what if I just run towards the car and leap into it through the window? And they were like,
through the window?
Yeah, through the window. And they were like, okay, you can try that. And I did it, and then I did it. I had to do it over and over
again.
Yeah. And then I saw the pilot. It's like a blip, and then the show didn't get picked up. No one
Show
saw
didn't
it.
get picked up.
Show didn't get picked up.
Yes to you.
And my orthopedic surgeon.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah, of all of the shows here, Mid-Century Modern, I think it's safe to say, is perhaps the most R-rated in ways, and Blue.
George's death is telling us something. We need each other for comfort, companionship, and to erase our very, very disgusting search histories.
How liberating was it to not worry about certain restrictions of a network and just speak the way a lot of people speak?
Well, it's fun. I don't think they overuse it, that kind of thing, but that you do have the freedom to say some of that stuff, and it, yeah, there's some outrageous jokes too. It's not just language. Yeah, it's very freeing, and it is the way people talk, and I hadn't done a multicam in a very long time, in over 20 years, so I had forgotten what this process was like, which is a whirlwind, and it's very fast, and it's constantly changing, and then you're suddenly in front of 300 people doing it, and it's a little like the actor's nightmare. We're doing a play, doing a little 25-minute play, and it's thrilling and it's nerve-wracking. People talk about the multicam now like it's the butter churn. You know, I've done single-camera comedies, and it's great, but there is something about this. It's kind of a high-wire act. And, you know, this goes back to the day Desi Arnaz said, I think I'd like to do it with 3 cameras filmed in front of a live audience because that's the way Lucy works best. And so you think, wow, this has gone on a long time. But if it's done, I think if it's done well and it's well written, it's great fun.
Everybody curses now. Even on everybody curses now.
Yeah.
I personally do not curse
No.
on television.
Not Barbara Howard.
No.
No.
Right? Barbara Howard, no. I was shocked when they cursed on Abbott. But they curse, but then you don't hear it.
Bleep
Yeah.
it.
They bleep it out, and
Yeah.
it's almost like that little cartoon, and it just.
Yeah.
What do you call it? They fuzz it
blur
out,
it.
they blur it
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
you know, or they put a little exclamation on it, and you're like, whoa, did that just happen? So everybody curses.
Yeah. But Nathan, there is a scene in the first episode of Mid-Century Modern. I mean, it really sets the tone. It's with you and the younger actor.
Oh, my date.
Yes.
Oh, from the dating
yeah.
app.
Will you share that line? I think you still know it.
Oh, I've gone on a dating app for younger men who like older men.
Are you a bear?
Gay December. It's called Gay December Romance. And so this guy shows up. His name is Antonio. This actor, Renan Pacheco, who's terrific and very handsome fella. And we're in bed, and it's the post-coital moment, and he says to me, I say I haven't been this sexually fulfilled since I was at the bottom of a dog pile at Camp Shalom. And he says, well, think how much better it would be if you took your clothes off. So he pulls the covers down, and I'm still wearing a t-shirt and sweatpants, and I say, oh, hush, puppy, not on a first date. Don't get me wrong. You can chain me to the wall like a starfish and wreck me like a background actress on Game of Thrones. But
What a line.
but it's gonna be a while before I let you see my tummy.
And that sets the tone for that show, indeed.
Yeah.
I love a line you have to take a big breath for.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good.
Liza, I have so enjoyed watching Tina's journey over 3 years of The Bear. What was your reaction upon reading her origin story, the fantastic episode, Napkins?
I started crying. Like, a lot. Over time, every time I read it. Yeah, because the pilot, we were just having so much fun. Every time, like, the energy was up to here. And every time they yelled cut, we just start laughing. And then when I saw the pilot, I was like, wow, this is intense. I don't need to be inspired. I don't need to be impassioned. I don't need to make magic. I don't need to save the world, you know? I just want to feed my kid. I was nervous about being so hard. I didn't know at all what was coming. And to have that trust in the writers, they will give me the humanity that she needed. And then, you know, I just figured, you know, I got short arms, it'll be funny for me to chop things and reach across the stove.
I have also had the great fortune of watching you take a word and making it into a whole nother story. So as we applaud the parts that were given to you, also there are huge pieces of what you gave to us in that part, you know, so.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah. Uzo, how has this show, The Residents, been a unique acting challenge for you? Has it changed the way you act?
I think the first piece is similar to what you were saying, Sheryl, about the doing nothing. For me, it was an exercise in stillness.
Yes.
She's the only outsider in the space, right? So she does not have any piece of the information, any piece of information as far as how this whole apparatus of the White House works. So she's there to collect and assess. And I think for me, it's sort of, when I was reading the material, I was looking at how quickly she's able to process information. You know, she could see just a hair and be able to extract so much information from that one single thing, you know? Let's bring the temperature down. It's not boiling, she's a simmer. And she's really listening and lasered in, and that's how she takes that information and is able to extrapolate that single thing, that 5 things from it. And I think that was very different from parts that I played before. It was an understanding of how energy really works. That it doesn't require you always to do.
Exactly.
Sometimes it requires you to just be still. I've tried to care about this, but I really don't. So you all help me talk to the people I need to talk to, or I'm going to go downstairs, stand at the exit, thank every guest for coming, then ask them if they know about the dead man upstairs.
I love how she would say out loud, because I'm the best. Because I'm the smartest. And she's just bold like that. And I loved that. I loved that.
Have any of you experienced that with characters you've played, that one that kept you on your toes, that required a lot more study than another?
It's just part of my process to strip away everything. Like, don't come in with the toolbox or a bag of tricks and just kind of let the comedy come organically. You guys are well into your runs, but you know, with a new character and a new show, what is the tone? Trying to find that tone and just let it come. So the older I get, the less I do, and the more I get paid. So.
Great.
It's working.
Great.
For me, one of the scariest things in terms of comedy, it's happened to me a few times in my career. You're so funny. We didn't even, you just get on the elevator, say what you want. And it's like, I need words, man. You know, to me, that and I get so panicked. Like, just do your thing. You know, like I want a script, you know, like everybody else, but.
Sometimes they'll say, well, you do a bunch of takes, and then they'll be like, okay, now let's do a fun run.
It's like, no, this is the worn out run.
But that wasn't fun?
We've been having fun. This time.
Comedy does not exactly fit into a very specific box anymore. Michael, why do you think comedy and drama have started to merge so much in recent years?
I think there are some things that aren't funny, but even the funniest thing comes from from reality or from the truth. Our show is about mental health. I feel like every new scene that I get, I think, okay, who's the therapist and who's the patient in this scene? And sometimes I don't play a therapist in the show.
You're a lawyer, but yeah.
I'm a lawyer, yeah, but sometimes I'm the one giving advice. It's always, a bit of a dance to see, okay, where am I in this scene? And in the first episode, I didn't have any lines. You just see me like across the way. And the first episode took like the longest to shoot. I didn't have any at-bats for weeks. And I kept spiraling and spiraling. And then finally, like, I got to hit the ground running. But that whole, like, that idea, like, do I belong? Am I a fraud? When they finally see me, they're gonna be like, oh, no, that's not the guy we thought. That's not the guy we meant. That was following me. And then to also have to play a complicated, neurotic person on top of that. I mean, that actually helped, to be able to like...
something to play with.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. To answer your question, I kept my head down for a long time and just did what was on the page, just did the work. And it wasn't until actually season 2 had come out that I realized that I really figured out who he was. Even though I had, I think, been doing it, somebody said, well, there was a line in season 2 where I'm being really selfish, and Jason Segel's character says, are you really that much of a narcissist that you can't see what this is about? And I say, yes, Jimmy, that's what narcissism is. Having the courage to put yourself above others.
Yeah.
Wow. Courage, that word.
Brave words.
Are you really such a narcissist that you have to choose right now to make it about you?
Yes. That's what narcissism is, Jimmy. Having the courage to put yourself above others.
That's not what narcissism is.
When I did, I was like, that's such a funny line. That's so funny. And then it wasn't until somebody came up to me, because a lot of times people come up and say, I'm a therapist and I love your show, which is great, so gratifying. This woman came up and said, I'm a therapist and I love your show and I love your character. He's such a narcissist. And I was like, no, he's
Courageous.
I had no idea that he was a narcissist. And then I looked back and I was like, oh my God, of course he is. All this time I've been playing a narcissist. I've had this tunnel vision and I didn't realize it. And of course, like, that's what a narcissist does too, right? Like, they don't know that they are one. So it was gratifying to hear, oh, it worked, but also I was blown away that that I didn't realize. I had my head so down.
God, I'm a narcissist.
Right. Well, and of course, then I was like, am I a narcissist? That's why I didn't
Yes,
realize.
yes, you are.
Charlie's taking it hard. I'm more stable.
Yes, you've demonstrated that time and time
We'll never find a baby.
again.
We have, like you, many cameras, and our cameras they're literally on these rolling stools. So they're literally doing a sort of ballet with us in the work, our camera department, right? And I went through that phase like you were going through, well, I'm not doing anything. And then one day somebody said to me, you taught me something. And I said, what did I teach you? And they said, you taught me that you don't have to have lines to act. And I was like, I taught you that? Just because you don't have lines does not mean that you don't come to the script ready to do your job. And because those cameras are always rolling and always around, they caught everything. They caught every little move, they caught every little reaction, they caught every little side roll, and I was like, wow. And that is that moment where I said, honey, be comfortable with what you got, because you're here for a reason.
We don't always get the parts we audition for, so I'm curious, what is a bad audition, perhaps your worst audition, that you can look back on now and laugh about it?
Oh.
I auditioned for a movie called Rat Boy. It was a character who had kidnapped Rat Boy, and he was holding him hostage. You know, the way you do. So I had to say, this is the end of a long day, and this is years ago, and I had been on a few auditions, and so I went in and I had prepared this thing, and I had to say, listen, lady, if you ever want to see Rat Boy again, you'll come back. And I started to laugh. I said, I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm laughing. Very serious.
I don't know what came over me.
Rat Boy's life is being threatened. And so every time I would start this, and I said, listen, lady, if you ever want to see Rat Boy again. And I started like, so I finally said, I can't do this. I can't take this seriously. I'm going to have to go now.
You saw yourself out.
To play the kidnapper of Rat.
When you talk about laughing, I think mine would be, this was in the 80s. This is Saturday Night Live.
Oh, wow.
They are going to add gender and color. They're going to add a black girl. And I am so excited to get this audition. And I go in there, because I'm doing Dreamgirls. And I go in there and I'm ready to show this side of my talent. And there was none. There was none.
Nothing was
nothing
coming out of the. Yeah.
I can see me. I can see what I had on. I can see what I can see the camera in front of me. Nothing. Nothing at all. And I said goodbye to that man who created that show, and I was like, wow, thank you very much. And
There
that
are
was that.
indicators of a bad audition.
Oh, there's nothing
Things
like a bad audition.
Good luck.
Yes!
Yeah.
You're not getting.
Don't want to hear
That's
that.
it.
I auditioned for, what was it, Miami Vice or something, the TV show. And they kept me waiting so long, and I got so angry. It was over an hour and a half. And by the time I went in there, I threw the script down, and they said, okay, read. And I did it with such anger. I got the job. David, brilliant. We don't know what he was thinking, but it worked. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was still a lesson.
Yeah.
It was like,
Yes.
see, that's what I need to do every time. Not be angry, but go in with intention and and do the work.
Well, on St. Denis Medical, you are the elder statesman of this hospital. Dr. Ron has been through a lot of changes in his profession. Less doctoring, more paperwork, and he's become jaded by a lot of it. I'm curious.
I think so many people we meet who are jaded, they don't ever say that.
You can describe him as that, but he.
I don't think he would. I survived.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Yeah. David
He's a
can
broken
call him that.
teacup.
Ron
He
would
is a
call him-
broken
yeah.
teacup.
Yeah, yeah.
My dad was a doctor. I grew up in a community of black doctors and dentists. My dad was a psychiatrist. And I think my character, probably when he first started 35 years ago, had a big afro. He was like, we're going to change the whole system. First of all, I'm going to be healing my people, and we're not going to get bogged down in bureaucracy. It's going to be about bringing medicine to the people, but the bureaucracy won.
Right.
Now the afro's gone. He's there. He got 2 kids. They can't stand him. He's just what do you want? I'll do it.
Yeah.
So there's that. But I do think at the end of it, he's a good doctor.
Yes.
And he mentors Allison Tolman's character, which I think I see a lot in her, but trying to save her because she's working too hard. She's staying too late. She has a family. Don't do what I did. Go home. There'll be broken bones tomorrow. So that's the other side.
Yeah.
But funny.
Indeed, absolutely. What keeps you motivated and excited about acting and performing?
Every new show, every day is like the first day of school. I love what I do. I love it. I want to act until I can't.
That's it.
You know, and what a life I chose, but I did not ever envision, I'm 68, that I would be still working.
Right.
That I would be still valued, and that I know what I'm doing, finally. All those years of, oh man, can I do this? As an actor, I don't know if I can do this. I'm gonna try and do this. I come in not with ego, but with self-confidence that I know how to act. And that's alleviated and freed me. I mean, that's part of everyone going, I wanna do less. Because when you do more, you do that because you don't think you did enough, because you don't think that you have sold the scene or been in the scene.
That's right.
You know, so that's the beauty. I didn't know growing old was this fun. Seriously, I just thought I'd be retired, you know, but I'm reveling in it.
I love that too, the whole idea of I'm here to do the work
Yes.
because I really do want to go home. And I want to go home sane so that I can get up and be so happy about coming back to do it again.
Let's raise a glass. Cheers to all of you. Congrats on fantastic seasons of your shows and performances, and thank you all so much for joining us.
Come on, I got the short arms, guys.
It's funny.